Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Today, we're going to go find out a little bit more about what Kamala Harris stands for. I mean, so far, she's been doing a lot of speeches and a lot of stuff. Uh, this is my little political rants. It's political season, so a lot of my content is going to be centered around politics. And it's quite clear that I'm one of the divestors from the Democrat Party. But today, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm going to just say to you, be an informed voter. That's why the title of this really is, why voting based on identity politics is a bad idea. Because right now, the strategy is to vote for her because she's a person of color and she's a woman. That doesn't make anybody a good president. Doesn't make anybody a good CEO. Doesn't make anybody a good anything. Even though she has all the qualifications to be president, she's over 35. She is an American citizen. But does that mean she's fit to run the country? Those are the qualifications. You had to be, I guess, a resident in the United States for 10 years as well, something like that. But these things make you qualified. So that means all of us who are probably listening to this video could be president. I think I could be president. I really do. I definitely damn sure could be vice president. I don't think if you had any kind of corporate job, you ran any kind of organizations, you just scale it up to be vice president with all the people around you, be president with all the people around you. For all the decisions Biden made, I could have made those. Or even Barack Obama. I'm sitting back saying, let's take the mystery out of that shit. You got all kinds of advisors around you. You're going to age when you're the president. There's no doubt about it. Whatever color you have in your hair, it's going to turn white or you're going to lose it altogether. But before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. So what I got is a couple of videos that I'm going to show you. And I have a rant that I recorded. Now, I'm not even going to try to re-rant the rant that I have, but I am going to play it for you. And then I'm going to show those videos in between. Now, I have to caution you. I didn't know I was going to record this and put it out on tape. So there's a lot of cursing in it. But I don't think I've heard worse on YouTube, but I generally don't. I do curse, but I generally don't curse this much. And there may be some things that might be a little bit on the edge, but I don't think I've really said anything that hasn't been said on these airways before. So maybe there's a chance, maybe there's not, but I'm going to play it anyway. And then I'm going to cut into the videos. One is with Anton Daniels. And then another one is with a guy who puts 8 minutes of what Kamala, out of her own words, says that she stands for. And that might be something for people to look at. And if I have to clip this up to just show that, that'll be fine. So without further ado, let me just start. Let me just go through the rant and you guys can hear it, unfettered, uncut. And it might be a little muffled since it's a recording of a recording. But hey, listen, I just don't think I'm going to be able to recreate this. 8 minutes on Kamala Harris. I mean, we talk about this, so we should get to know who our candidate is. And, I don't think we should be voting for anybody based on identity politics. However, I'm not telling you who to vote for. But I thought, as part of my Monday show, I want to pull back the onion so we can all see in real time who this lady really is. And then we could have all the people out there examine if it's still prudent to vote for somebody just because her skin or his skin looks just like yours. I mean, when are we going to get over that shit? You know what I'm saying? When are we going to stop being afraid of white men? None of these fucking politicians on either side, have the population's best things in mind. They're just looking for power. And if we stop looking at ourselves just as Black Americans just for a second, and just Americans, we'll see that we're all being fucking screwed. right? And so we're all voting for the lesser of two evils. And even if there's people who are completely in the Biden, the Harris camp, you can ask them why they're in the Harris camp, and most of them are going to tell you it's just because she's a black woman. You ask Trump supporters why are they in his camp, they're gonna tell you some shit that you might not like. Some of it might be race leaning, but he actually has certain policies that these fucking people like, right? But we're not talking about him today. You can go research that. But the one thing I know about black people when they look at Trump, they don't like him because he's white and he's a white nationalist from the standpoint that he likes being a white man. You know, he likes being a white man. And that shit triggers people. I don't know why. So anyway, a white rich man. You know, I mean, poor white people can't hang out with Trump. Are you kidding me? He's not going to Appalachia eating at the dinner table with the motherfuckers. He's not. He's just not doing it. Anyway, so that's just another story. But let's get back to our girl, Cam Cam. You know what I'm saying? So before we get started, I want to make sure that we set the table straight. You know, we got the Divine Nine and all the black women and all the simpish black men and all that kind of shit. Just voting for her based on identity politics. I was going back and forth with one of my frat brothers who I pledged into the frat. And he talks to me with complete disrespect because he's a full-fledged liberal Democrat. And I'm on the other side. And we go back and forth. So we get on Kamala Harris on my Facebook page. And we're going back and forth. And he's telling me this. He's telling me that. And he says, how are you going to call her a DEI hire? Nobody hires a vice president. She's elected. Then I said, let me give you a little civics lesson. The vice president is elected on a ticket with the president. But she's selected by the president, and she's a DEI hire, not because I'm using a derogatory term. She's a DEI hire because Biden called her that. Biden says, I have a short list of black women that I'm going to make vice president. That's diversity hiring. That's the quintessential, literal fucking definition of a diversity hire. That means I'm going to hire the bitch because she's black, and she's a woman above all others. So the inclusion part is not even in there. It's not even in there. By hiring somebody based on your spoken word like that, you're telling the rest of the candidates, white, Asian, anybody, that you are not included in my fucking pick. So she's a DEI hire, a DEI selection. A DEI selection. There's no way around it. You can't fucking talk your way out of that. You know what I'm saying? And the fucking Republicans are too dog shit stupid to just keep repeating that. Spill his words back at him. And same thing for Marjorie Brown, whatever the fuck that Supreme Court name she is. Listen, and this might even be about qualifications, by the way. I believe Kamala Harris is completely competent to be incompetent as a vice president. Yeah, you could put two sticks together and call that motherfucker a vice president. Shit, I could be vice president. Fuck, I think I could be president, goddammit. With these stupid motherfuckers, I think I could be president. I'm over 35. I'm an American citizen. Right? That's the only prerequisite to be president. You don't have to be special. You don't even have to have no education, no college degree, or none of that shit. So anyway, vice president is even less. It'll be up to me who I pick as vice president. So that's what that is. And the same thing with the Supreme Court justice. She got picked because he said it. He outright said, I want to put a black woman on a fucking court. That's diversity. That's not equity, by the way, because you cannot presuppose equality of outcomes. You can't. You can't. You can only give people the same equal opportunity based on some fucking criteria. And if the criteria is that you got to be black, white, that's not fucking even equality criteria. That's an exclusionary criteria. So the whole inclusion shit is an oxy fucking moron when you use When you hire somebody based on filling a diversity quota, inclusion has nothing to do with it. It's an exclusionary fucking thing. So let's just get back to Kamala. So I want you to look at this exchange between Anton Daniels and one of his panel members.
Okay, so Paige, you pro-woman. I got to hear what you got to say, y'all.
I am pro-woman. But in this situation, I don't think that she's going to win. I think it's good for entertainment and us women and Black women at that. But as far as you men, Black, whatever color, I don't think y'all are going to allow it. I don't think y'all are. And I think y'all are going to band together with your votes and vote against her. That's what I think.
Would you vote for? Let me ask you a question. Would you vote for?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm going to just be real honest with this. She's a Black woman.
Yeah. Because they skin folk, not Kim folk.
I think it goes back to what somebody was saying, where it's not voting for someone, but majority will vote for somebody else just.
Hold on. Let me mind this out.
I think majority.
Is it only because she a Black woman?
Yeah.
Let's put Sex Array in the office.
She's not Black, friend. She's not Black.
Wait. Let's just say it don't matter.
Isn't she half Black?
Listen, whether she half Black, hold on. Let's have this conversation. Whether she's half Black or
she's half of two of the most prosecuted.
It doesn't even matter. None of that matters. Why? Only because of that.
Because I would love to see a woman in office.
Oh, why?
I want to give us a shot. I mean, how many presidents have we had that were all men? Like, let's
all right, vote for
everything on my father's grave. I am so broken right now, man.
Why?
Do you not see how that's a bad idea?
Elaborate.
Okay, so we're in 3 proxy wars with some of the most powerful leaders in the world. She failed at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they are in a deficit. Oakland is going out of business. San Francisco ditto. California, $65 billion deficit. New York, they're literally cutting trash, in which they are the rattiest, dirtiest city, and they've taken up resources as far as free healthcare, free hotels to the tune of $600 a day. They're literally taking over your schools. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the migrant crisis. She was supposed to be in charge of this. We have a failing economy. Every single day I see people getting on the internet talking about $30 an hour is the new minimum wage because inflation is fucking out of control. At one point, it was at almost 10%, depending on what city that you in. She has no policy, no record to stand on. One of the biggest things that she did in her career was lock up more Black men than ever before. But we sitting here and vote her in office on identity politics. The very person that she was under as far as the president of the United States of America, she called him racist during a debate, which shows you how fake she is. And the only thing that we can stand on from a policy perspective is whether or not she's Black and she's a woman. We did that during the Obama administration, and he didn't do anything for Black people. As a matter of fact, y'all complain because the only person that he did, or the only group of people that he really stood for, is the alphabet community, and that's his landmark thing that he's still standing on today. So the only thing that we have to stand on is identity politics. That shit didn't work with Tiffany Henyard in Dolton, Illinois. It didn't work with Karen Bass. It didn't work with Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. It didn't work with Brandon Johnson that then took over her position in Chicago. It didn't work with Andre Dickens in Atlanta. It didn't work with Eric Adams in New York. It doesn't work across the country. Every single Democratic city is a hellhole. And we sitting here talking about identity politics?
Let me stop it right there. Listen, I'm gonna clip some of this up, but he's absolutely right. Anton's absolutely right. You can't just vote on these things. So let's get back to my rant a little bit, and then we're gonna go to the other piece that I want to talk about, and we'll get there. So let me get out of this, and we're gonna go back to another piece. I'm gonna go back to the rant for a second. I'm gonna stop sharing this. I'm gonna share this. What I want to do is I want to go through a clip on seven minutes of you choose whether you agree with these policies that your vice president is proposing or is espousing, and think about it if she had the presidential hat on. Now, she wouldn't be able to get all these things passed, so to be fair, but some executive orders, she could actually do shit like with Title IX. Biden changed Title IX through executive order, and that shit is probably unfucking constitutional. And I don't know where you fucking women are, but the fact that women are not BLMing on all the streets is amazing to me. You women of the West are the most fucked up women in the world. I'm serious. How could you possibly? You talk about how men invade and men abuse you, how men do all this shit to you, and you're letting men, chicks with dicks, absolutely invade your spaces. They're putting their dicks in your faces in locker rooms. They're putting their dicks in the boxing ring and punching your fucking lights out. They're putting their dicks everywhere you used to have sanctuary. And you fucking bitches are just sitting here letting it happen. The only fucking thing y'all could argue about is real men. How much you hate fucking real goddamn men. And then you have these men posing as women, taking over every fucking thing you hold dear. You stupid motherfuckers, man. I mean, come on. Stand up and fight for yourself on something that's meaningful. Instead, you want to put a woman who's a champion for that shit in the Oval fucking office. You know, man, you're going to deserve every fucking thing you get if she becomes president. You're going to deserve everything you get if she becomes president. You're going to deserve everything you get if she becomes president. You know, this is funny, right? I said this before. I said, this is saying, right? It doesn't matter how long it takes for you to get a revelation. As long as you do, I don't know if that's really true. I really don't believe. I mean, it's good that you have a revelation, but sometimes this shit comes too fucking late. If you can get it earlier, that's the better. If you get your revelations earlier, that's better. If all you sisters and all you men who carry yourselves to these to chicks, go vote for a woman based on the color of her skin. You're gonna get every goddamn thing you deserve, and you're gonna take the rest of us with you. We already have 4 years of Trump. We already have 4 years of Trump. And we're talking about his policies. Let's just say, I'll give you the January 6th thing, right? I'll give you that. It was thwarted. Our fucking country held against a couple of bunkers going into the Capitol. But there was a small cadre of guys who could have done real damage. And the chick that got shot, I think anybody I don't salute anybody dying. She was a soldier who actually betrayed her country. She should have never been there. She should have never been there. And once she got past that barrier, everybody keeps forgetting that was the last barrier between that angry fucking mob and the congressman. The Secret Service guy had no choice but to do what he did. Because if that mob would have got through, nobody knows what would have happened. Nobody knows what would have happened. They could have killed some of those people back there. They was unruly. They were crazy. They were breaking shit. If I have a Secret Service guard, I don't want them to get through. Do what you have to do. That's why he got off. That's why he got off. He did his job. He couldn't let the fucking mob tell all those senators and congressmen that was being barricaded back there. Are you kidding me? He did a better job than the fucking people who tried to get the president assassinated just a little while ago. So I mean, wake up, people. Get your emotions out of the way. What kind of country do you have? Do we want some conservatism, both fiscally and spiritually and socially, where everything doesn't go? You can have your guns, you can have your free speech, you can have certain things, but you don't want to have crazy people with unfettered rights. Nobody, women say, well, my number, you want to take away the A word. I don't believe anybody should have the right to delete people because they just want to. No. How about being a little chaste? How about how about protecting your womb and stop blaming it on men? Because if you know men, like I know men, and you women, you do know men. You know that every man who's healthy wants some sex from you. And if you let him stick the tip in, that's you letting him stick the tip in. And it goes in that order in every single court of law from the top to the bottom in this country. So if it's true in the law room, it's true in the bedroom. You gotta let the motherfucker in. Of course he wants in. And so only a small percentage of men who are gonna walk away from hot box. That's a fact. So this woman that's gonna want to be president is gonna lean into all the bullshit. So let me tell you, the end of the rant, let's roll a goddamn clip.
The honeymoon was fun while it lasted, and Democrats are now realizing they might have made a big mistake.
Look, she's going to get slaughtered. They're coming out. They're coming, and this is just part of no different than it was any other time. And they have got to get up and get ready, and they've got to be able to defend and attack at the same time. And there's going to be a time of struggle of definition as to who Vice President Harris is. And we better be ready for that.
That's a great question. Who is Kamala Harris? Let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, I am radical. I do believe that we need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously.
Kamala Harris is a San Francisco radical, tagged as the most liberal senator to the left of Bernie Sanders. And if she gets her hands on America, she'll empty the prisons.
I absolutely am without any question committed to reducing the prison population. I'm not going to commit to a specific number because I want to make sure I can meet it. But I am committed to drastically reducing our prison population.
Kamala doesn't want to lock up more criminals, and the criminals who are already locked up, she wants to let them out early. And if you're on death row for murder, she wants to let you vote.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
Kamala wants ballot harvesting inside of prisons. She also wants to defund the police.
It is wrong-headed thinking to think that the only way you're going to get communities to be safe is to put more police officers on the street.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
Look, right. So here's the thing. Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety.
So when the prisons are emptied and the police are defunded, she wants to seize your guns so you can't defend yourself.
What would you do about the millions of specifically assault weapons that are already in circulation? What do you do about those?
We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
Mandatory buyback means the government knocks at your door, takes your rifle, and mails you a tiny check. Your home won't be protected, and neither will the border.
We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct.
So it's not a crime to break into the country in Kamala's America. But if you do and you rape a kid, ICE won't pick you up because ICE will be gone.
I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing. And we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
Well, you might as well start from scratch, too, because your job will be gone. Kamala Harris backs AOC's Green New Deal and wants to ban American natural gas exploration.
I am offering a Green New Deal that has been described as one of the most aggressive and progressive.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes.
The Green New Deal taxes cow flatulence, spends billions on solar-powered airplanes, seems safe, and sends millions of American energy jobs to China. And after your job's gone, she wants to take away your private health insurance, too.
You support the Medicare for All bill, I think initially co-sponsored by Senator Bernie Sanders. You're also a co-sponsor on it. I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance. So for people out there who like their insurance, they don't get to keep it?
Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on.
Kamala keeps her nice health care, but you have to wait in line for months like a Canadian to see a doctor or die on a waiting list. But if you're in prison, you get the best health care ever.
I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need.
Taxpayer-funded sex changes for prison inmates. $100,000 surgery so men can switch to women's prisons and have more fun. If the country weren't bankrupt enough, how about some reparations?
Should Black people get reparations?
I think there has to be some form of reparations, and we can discuss what that is.
That's the Kamala Harris record. She's extreme, she's dangerous, she's flat out crazy. After Trump pointed all of that out, the Harris campaign says she doesn't believe those things anymore. Their defense is, yeah, all those things Kamala said 4 years ago were lies. This isn't a woman you can trust. And the biggest lie she told was that Joe Biden had his act together. She lied right to our face.
If there ever is a problem, do you think that you could go tell the American public? Do you think in your role that you're in a position to do that?
Of course, if necessary, but there's no need for that.
There was. This is a radical and power-hungry San Francisco sideshow who will do or say anything to get ahead. She's done nothing to help you get ahead. She gets ahead. It's all about her. And everything she's gotten has been handed to her. The California machine promoted her. She didn't win competitive races. She's a Democrat in California. The only time she faced serious competition, she flamed out. Not a single vote. She called Joe Biden a racist and then joined his ticket. Joe got lucky because of COVID, brought her along for the ride, and then the two of them wrecked the country. Joe made her border czar. She never showed up to work. Death and destruction everywhere. He put her in charge of that voting bill, failed, thank God. He sent her to Europe to warn Russia not to invade Ukraine. Putin laughed and invaded the same week. She's not respected overseas. She's not respected on the left. A year ago, they tried to kick her off the ticket. She's not even respected by her own staff. They've all quit. She's not respected because she's an incompetent San Francisco socialist whose administration almost got Trump assassinated. Let 10 million foreigners pour into the country and spent so much money on boondoggles that inflation raged and crushed your wages. USA Today said Kamala's biggest accomplishment as vice president was visiting an abortion clinic. When he was VP, Al Gore invented the internet, okay? Now, if they install this woman into the White House, the military-industrial complex is going to control her. We'll be at war with Russia before you know it. Lobbyists are already licking their chops. They can't wait to grease the Harris administration. It's like taking candy from a baby. This is a frivolous fraud who hasn't solved a single problem, gotten on top from handouts, never lifting a finger to help the American people. She's only there to help herself. America can't afford Kamala Harris. This is not
saying, listen, know who you're voting for, but just voting on the basis of skin color and gender is a big, huge mistake. And we can't afford it as America right now. We can't. Now, I know the other candidate is somebody who is another evil, and you could decide whether you vote for him or somebody else. But the truth of the matter is, the danger of putting somebody with these radical ideas in the Oval Office is really, that's to me is more scary than Donald Trump. There's just no doubt about it. Anyway, and because we already had 4 years of the guy, right? I mean, the world didn't come to an end. He had more respect with the other leaders. We didn't have these proxy wars going on. So anyway, and we need a peace to that. So I know the one thing that both sides are completely in lockstep is that one country over in the Middle East, there's no respite there. Both parties are beholden and kind of pretty much enslaved to that policy. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting political season, and nobody should be protected because of their gender or race or anything else. Everything that needs to be said about these candidates should be said, and that also includes no holds barred on Kamala Harris. Our pain, marriage, politics, and sports. Over and out.